Well, hey everybody, it's me, David Elston, and this is actually something I've never attempted to do, which is open up one of my projects and dig into the actual sounds and what's going on. I'm going to open up my recent release on Chasing Dreams, which just came out last week, by the way. I'll leave a link if you want to go check it out. This one is called The One. It's one I did with the lovely Jodie Poye, and I want to show you a couple sounds that, to me, stand out in this project, other than the vocals. So the first one is this horizon lead. It's kind of used as almost a pad for a little while, and then later on with the automation it becomes a pluck. And you'll see down here I'm actually just using it's a preset in Silent that I sort of modified. I very rarely do something with just a preset. I can't think of a time where I've just used a preset and just done nothing to it. So it's more of a starting point than anything else. I actually have EQ. These were turned off because I was tinkering. Let's just hear the sound as it is right now. I'll play this part of the breakdown here, so you can hear, and then I'll solo the sound. So let's listen. Okay, so the sound that I'm referring to is this sort of wispy kind of, it kind of sounds like a pad. But that's sort of the beauty of this, is I like to take sounds that aren't what they're, and use them in a way that they're not intended to be used. If you can see, this was actually a pluck that I pulled out of one of my many preset sound banks, and I put a bunch of automation on. In this case, just playing with the attacks of both. Let's just open it up here. Pull this down. So this is just a preset in Silent that I've modified pretty, not heavily, but I just liked the sound, and so I modified some things to make it do what I want it to do. In this case, you can see down here in the lower left, the attack wheel. If I grab this, you can see, if you look at the amp envelope of Silent here, the attack is, it's just, that's it. Okay, so in this case, if you look at the automation here, it's got automation on this instrument rack of the attack, and all it does is it starts out at this 45 value, and then later, if you listen, I'll play it, becomes a pluck. So you can hear that. You can hear the transient now coming through. So that's one thing, playing with the attack, just automating something in the envelope itself to try to make it do other things than what its single purpose. That's something I like to try to do. Mod wheel, that's pretty basic stuff. Playing with the mod envelopes. So that's another thing a lot of the times will do. So if you watch, we'll kind of go here, this automation right here as the playhead's moving, and then these mod envelopes are changing. It's right there. Just to try to get it to be more wispy. Anyway, so this is a sound that I think when you listen to it in the breakdown, I'll play the thing, I'll play the track, and then into the breakdown, I just love how this sort of like creates this soundscape. And then right here, where it really starts to open up. So that's one of the sounds that when I hear this track, this is one of the sounds that I still kind of get goosebumps over. Another sound, other than typical lead type sounds, that I really like is this I called it Sparkle ARP. Yet again, another, let me unfreeze it, another preset that I automate things and whatever. And using this crystallizer, which is a Sound Toys. If you take this off, let's just play the sound real quick, sorry. Right here. Let's play it from here, actually. Right, so that's a sound that I think also adds to this sort of building of tension. These are all my opinions, of course, but this is why this was added in. In fact, I don't think this is in the track anywhere else. If you look, that's the radio edit down there. So yeah, so what's going on here? This crystallizer is creating that sort of granular echo. So if you take it off and we play this last part, let's turn this rack off. It's just an arpeggiated pulse wave sound. But if you turn this on, you get these like little trickles and tinks and stuff in the background, so. We can even turn off the dry signal to hear that. So it just creates this like depth to it. The other thing is doing this in parallel so that the dry signal still cuts through and you can still hear it. That's something I've been doing quite a bit lately to make sure that the core sound isn't drowned out by, in this case, those crystals. So to sort of set them in the back. And then finally, this one has an arpeggiator. It is playing with the ARP inside. Let's open up the preset. It has an arpeggiate. I think I want to say I added this. It's a pulse wave pluck, and if you listen to it without the arpeggiator, that's all you'd get. So the arpeggiator is just, and I'm playing with this wheel here, the time, to create that sort of like zip. So you can see it's moving here. Anyway, so when you hear the whole breakdown, you can kind of hear those two sounds together. Along with the other sounds in there, this, to me, is that sort of attempt to do something with sounds the way they were not intended to be used. So the first one being the horizon lead, where it's actually a pluck sound, but by playing with the amp envelope and the mod envelopes, you can create some crazy differences and still put it back to where it should be, if you will, should be as a pluck, because it's later on used as a pluck. And then finally, this Sparkle ARP is just to use a little bit of effects to kind of create some depth to it, and also using and modulating the arpeggio itself to create some dynamics that are other than just. So, okay, so that's the end of this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this, maybe found something useful to take away, or whatever it may be. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you think you'd like to see something specific about, I don't know, any one of my productions. Maybe we pick up an old project and look at it. So definitely hit me in the comments. Appreciate the support. See you next time.